Kathy, you want to put the slide up?
Kathy?
Yes.
I went out and came back in. I'm still not able to get the video.
Right.
This has happened before. I'm
Yeah.
concerned about the order of service.
Um,
I'm going to, someone may have to read it in my stead.
even if we just listen and I think that would be okay.
Okay.
I don't know what, Judy, Irwin, what do you think?
Is she there?
Unless, Tom or Don have any other ideas for,
Judy, you're muted.
Yeah, I was just saying I don't have the closing words with me, so I can't substitute for Christine.
Okay, then I will read them.
Okay.
One more minute.
Now I have a problem. Can you hear my dog?
Yes.
I don't know what to do about him.
Well, maybe it will be lucky.
Judy, Judy, mute yourself until you're speaking.
Good idea.
Try the bathroom for the dog.
Oh,
That'll make it worse.
He would destroy.
Pet your doggy. That's all you have to do. Pet your doggy. You can talk and pet at the same time.
Okay, I'm going to go ahead and start.
Well, you can start a few minutes late.
Are we ready? Okay.
I'd wait a few minutes. You know.
Joanne. Okay. I want to welcome. I want to welcome everyone this morning. I'm happy to see all of you here and that you've joined our service today. I am Pat Hurst, a member of the worship committee for UU Catskills. We are a welcoming congregation. We welcome friends and guests and members to our online service. Whoever you are, whomever you love, wherever you are in your life's journey, you are welcome here with us. If you are a visitor and would like to be added to our mailing list, be sure and add your name to the chat room. You'll also receive mailings and the monthly newsletter. You can also email our office administrator, given on an upcoming slide. Next slide. At UU Catskills, we affirm Black Lives Matter, and we are active voices in the effort to address climate change. We are a congregational affiliate of Ulster Immigration Defense Network, and we are a welcoming congregation for the LGBTQ community. Unitarian Universalism is a liberal religious faith that carries no creed and welcomes all seekers. We are guided by 7 principles and 6 sources that encompass the many ways that we come to know and understand the world, the universe, the divine, and our place in it. If you are new, we encourage you to visit our website at uucatskills.org. If you would like to be added, I've already mentioned. Our community circles, shown in this slide, we have 9 community circles at UUCC. These are groups of members who live in the same area. Circles usually meet once a month. During the COVID isolation, Zoom allowed us to keep in contact with one another. And now we're meeting together in person. Coming up this week, we have on Thursday our bedtime story and more. That's at 7 p.m. And welcome our children and youth of all ages. Be sure to read our monthly newsletter for commentary, various activities, and Sunday services planned for the coming month. They are also given in our weekly updates sent by email to our congregation and friends. Watch for our August newsletter coming out later this week. It can be found on our uucatskills.org website under the tab More. After the service today, you are encouraged to stay. We will have breakout rooms and virtual coffee. So now let us join together in creating a sacred space, a special place for our worship together. For our prelude this morning, Catherine Catabiani will play In the Beginning by Dennis Alexander. Thank you, Catherine. If you have a chalice, please light it as I light mine, and along with some of our children and youth in the video. You're invited to say the words as they appear on the screen.
Be like this chalice in grateful, loving community.
Even in the darkest of times.
Its flame light paths to courage, justice, and hope.
Let us say together our affirmation. May we be reminded here of our highest aspirations and inspired to bring our gifts of love to all living beings. May we know once again that we are not isolated, but connected in wonder and joy to mystery and miracle in the universe, in this community, and in each other. The theme for this morning's service is What is Happiness? It was developed by Judy Irwin and members of the Buddha Cats, which is one of our special interest groups. Dr. Irwin is a professor emeritus at the University of Connecticut, NEG School of Education, where she taught critical education theory, literacy education, and spirituality in education. She also spent 3 years studying at the Psychosynthesis Center in Amherst, Massachusetts. Our opening words is from the writings of Thich Nhat Hanh, a Buddhist monk and global spiritual leader. It'll be read by Karen Wicks Lindsay, a member of the Buddha Cats.
When I pour tea, I like to pour the tea mindfully. When I pour tea mindfully, my mind isn't in the past or the future or with my projects. My mind is focused on pouring the tea. I'm fully concentrated on the act of pouring tea. Pouring tea becomes the only object of my mindfulness and concentration. This is a pleasure, and it can also bring many insights. I can see that in the tea there is a cloud. Yesterday it was a cloud, but today it is my tea. Insight is not something very far away. With mindfulness and concentration, you can begin to develop the insight that can liberate you and bring you happiness.
Please join in singing our song, May I Be Filled with Loving Kindness. The words are from traditional Buddhist meditation and music is by Ian Riddle. It's performed by Catherine and Ella Katabiani.
May I be filled with loving kindness. May I be well. May I be filled with loving kindness. May I be well. May I be peaceful and at ease. May I be whole. May you be filled with loving kindness. May you be well. May you be filled with loving kindness. May you be well. May you be peaceful and at ease. May you May we be well. May we be peaceful and at ease. May we be whole.
Thank you. For our Not for Children Only this morning, Kathy Cassiner will read from the book, All I See is Part of Me by Kara M. Curtis.
I am part of all I see, and all I see is part of me. I am my hands, I am my feet, I am the puppy across the street. I am the moon, I am the stars. I am even found in candy bars. I used to think that I was small, a little body, that was all. But then one day I asked the sun, who are you? He beamed, we are one. I said, I'm here and you are there. Said he, you are there and everywhere. I asked him, how can this be true? How can I be both me and you? He smiled, go ask your sister star. She too is part of who you are. And so I waited till the night when darkness let me see her light. Sister star, how can it be that I am you and you are me? She glowed, you're larger than you know. You are every place there is to go. You have a body that is true, but look at what's inside of you. I closed my eyes to see within. I saw a light. It made me grin. It reminded me of Sister Star. She said, that light is who you are. Your body is just a little part of the light that shines within your heart. In all the world, in all of space, your light shines bright. It's every place. And when you join it dot to dot, you see that you is what you've got. All the plants, the animals and trees are in your light, and you are these. Look inside each one you meet and see your light. It's so complete. Inside, outside, below, above, see your light and feel its love. You're asking you when you ask me, so you know everything, don't you see? I looked again at all my light, and I knew that Sister Star was right. For every question there could be, the answer is inside of me. All I ever had to do was to ask the part of me that knew. And then I said, there's something more. Each question opens up a door, and every door that I walk through leads to a part of me that's new. Thank you so much, Sister Star. I love the part of me you are. I wondered as I climbed in bed, does all of me sleep when I rest my head? And then a voice, I guess was me, replied and spoke most lovingly. Even when you sleep, you are awake in every shining star. I snuggled with my teddy bear, and in his light I saw me there. You are me and I am you. You love me and I love you too. I closed my eyes and found my light dancing with moonbeams in the night. I said a prayer I know was heard, 'cause all that is hears every word. And I can see in all of me that there can be no end. And now Judy Irwin will lead us in a meditation.
Today's meditation comes to us from Kimberly Brown via Tricycle Magazine's monthly Dharma Talks. It's very brief, but I think amazingly powerful. First, get yourself comfortable in a seated position with both feet on the floor. Sit with your spine erect if you can. Feel your body relaxing as you breathe deeply into your belly 5 times. Say with me, may I be happy and peaceful. Let your hands rest comfortably on your lap. May I be happy and peaceful. Now, picture someone you love with whom you are close. A partner, a child, a parent, a friend. It could even be a pet. Picture them coming into the room where you are sitting. Greet them warmly. Sit together in an attitude of friendliness. Now say to your friend 4 times, I release you from my demands and expectations of you. I release you from my demands and expectations of you. I release you from my demands and expectations of you. I release you from my demands and expectations of you. Now sit together quietly while the effects of these words take hold. Take a minute to appreciate your good heart and your attention to release others from your expectations. Now feel your hands and feet, return to your breath, and open your eyes, feeling relaxed and refreshed.
Thank you, Judy. For our offering this month, 1/2 of our plate goes to the family of Woodstock. Since 1970, family has been an anchor for area residents and provides shelters, emergency food pantries, hotlines, services for domestic violence, court advocates, counseling, and family support. You will see on your screen that there are several ways to contribute to UU Catskills for our plate this morning. You may donate by texting the 833 number, by going online to our uucatskills.org website. You can also mail your donation to our office address. For our offertory this morning, Catherine will play Mountain Nocturne by Dennis Alexander.
You're muted.
Judy Irwin will now give a homily on what is happiness.
When I chose today's topic, Buddhist ideas on happiness, I went on Amazon and searched Buddhism and happiness, and I got 75 pages. And in the first 4 pages, I counted up 20 books that had Buddhism and happiness in the title. That actually surprised me, although I know that happiness is really central to Buddhism. Some would say that happiness is even the point of Buddhism when you think of happiness as the opposite of suffering. One basic belief of Buddhism is that everyone wants happiness, and I guess I assume that everyone in this congregation probably wanted happiness. And the psychologists have found that everybody has a preset level of happiness. And then when something terrible happens or something good happens, you're thrown off, but soon you return to your preset level. But psychologists have also found that you can change your preset level. Now, I want to say at the offing, because I'm going to do it a lot, when I say Buddhists think, I'm really just talking about my impression of mostly Tibetan Buddhist books that I've read, some Thich Nhat Hanh. And like all religions, Buddhism has many sects, many sets of beliefs. And when I say Buddhists believe, I'm already wrong, because there are going to be some Buddhists that don't believe it. So I'm sure you can understand that. And I'll try not to use that expression. On the other hand, I think almost all Buddhists believe that the Buddha started his teaching with something called the Four Noble Truths. And the first truth is that life is suffering. And many people hear that as negative. People say that perhaps it's correctly translated as suffering is, which is something we can all agree with. We all have suffering in our lives. And ironically, this truth even helps us with happiness, because when we realize that suffering is a normal part of life, perhaps we will fight it less and accept it more, and thus become a little happier. But the second noble truth is what are the causes? The Buddha left his castle and discovered suffering and immediately devoted his life to finding a way out of suffering. So the second noble truth has to do with what are the causes of suffering? Why aren't we happy? And he says that we're not, all of this is watered down, of course, to one talk, but that we're not happy because of craving, wanting attachment, wanting things to always stay the same, which they don't. And in our society, craving and wanting is really encouraged. And it's not really a source of happiness. We're led to believe that getting things will help us be happier. But most of us have learned that material goods aren't really the way to happiness. But we fall into it. We might need a bigger house. We might need a better car. And those kinds of cravings can often lead to unhappiness. The fleeting nature of material acquisitions is best seen at Christmas when we see kids getting all this stuff and then the next day they're in a bad mood or it's over. And I read some research while I was preparing for this talk that said that when you get something you want, you feel happy for exactly 3 days. I haven't had a chance to test that out, but it sounds like an interesting idea. Anam Tupton, who's a well-known San Francisco Tibetan Buddhist, says that the reason, the problem with our attachment to our things is that we identify with them. He said there's nothing wrong with having beautiful things as long as that we don't use them to say who we are. And I would add to that, of course, if we have beautiful things and somehow it makes us feel better than somebody who doesn't, that's a problem for our happiness. But along with wanting material things, we all have things we want that I would put more in the area of relationships. You know, if we just had a spouse or a partner, or if our partner was just a little different, or if we had more friends, or if people were nicer, or if we had the esteem of others or a different job, then we would be happy. And that doesn't tend to get us to happiness either. That's just wanting, wanting, wanting. We do need some material goods. We need to have our basic needs met, food, shelter, clothing. And we need to have some community where we feel that we belong and we have others that respond to us. But we don't need more and more and more. And the feeling that more and more will bring us happiness is kind of a cover for an underlying alienation from the self. And Buddhists would say, if you'll let me say that, even if we get all the material goods and all the relationships we want, we'll still feel an underlying sense of unease because all of these things can be lost. This is the reality of impermanence. Things are destroyed, people move away, people die. So if we base all of our happiness on external things, we're going to always have a feeling of insecurity. So Buddhists would recommend that we base our happiness on something more internal. The third noble truth, and I've just recently started to call this the happiness truth, because the third noble truth is that we can overcome suffering, that there are things we can do to overcome the causes of suffering and unhappiness. And the fourth noble truth is laid out as a eightfold path that makes it a little easier to follow. So let's turn our attention to ways to develop happiness that aren't material or based on craving. Now, many people equate Buddhism with meditation, that Buddhism and meditation are the same thing. It's not true. Meditation is just one of the things listed as a way to begin to overcome suffering. And what most people think of as meditation is where you quiet your body and you follow your breathing. You keep your attention on the breath for about 20 minutes. And it's really hard to do because we all have a monkey mind that's all over the place. And the key to this kind of meditation is when your mind goes, you realize it and you come back to the breath. And your mind goes and you come back to the breath. And over time, you develop more and more ability to stay focused on the breath. The first year the Buddha Cats met, we set a goal for us all, to the extent we could, to develop a daily practice of that kind of meditation. It's called calm abiding. And we succeeded in various levels, some people a few times a week and so forth, but we all tried pretty much for the whole year. And what amazed me was that at the end of the year, we were talking about how we'd done, and everyone agreed they felt a little happier. And I hadn't thought about that for myself, but it was actually true. I did feel a little happier. And one of the reasons I was looking at some research on meditation is that if you do meditation, it helps you to stay focused. It helps you to regulate your emotions. It helps you to stay in touch with your body. And you spend less time in rumination and worrying, which is the disease of the 21st century. So meditation alone can probably help you become happier. But it's only one of the things recommended for calming the mind. And I think we would all agree that calming the mind is essential for happiness. Last year is a good example. During the pandemic, we all had plenty of time to meditate, but mostly we didn't feel very peaceful. So it isn't about time. And so I would maybe ask everybody to think about, what does it mean to be calmly centered, and how does that feel for you? Another thing that is recommended as you begin to overcome suffering is what I call mindfulness, which is living in the present now. Not 10 minutes ago, not 10 minutes, but right now. Where are you sitting? What's around you? How is your body feeling? What's in your mind? Where are you right now? Living in the now can bring so many moments of happiness, where you notice things, you notice the birds, you notice the flowers, you notice the things that you're often too busy to notice. But the problem with doing this, of course, is that your monkey mind is running around trying to get you distracted on all the other things that you should worry about. And that's why meditation helps you with mindfulness. It's really like a practice mindfulness. Thich Nhat Hanh at Plum Village, Thich Nhat Hanh was the one that first brought mindfulness to the West with a wonderful book on mindfulness, in which he talked about, for example, washing the dishes as a wonderful thing. Because when you're washing the dishes, you just pay attention to that plate and just watch how that plate gets cleaner and cleaner. And when it's all done, you feel satisfied. You put it aside. You turn your attention to the next plate. During this time, you're not thinking of other things. You're washing the dishes mindfully. He also suggests eating mindfully. I try to do this every day, and it's often difficult. When you're eating, you pay attention to every aspect of your food, what it tastes like, the texture in your mouth, how crunchy it is, how satisfying, what it looks like, and you keep your attention on eating. Now, we all know what it feels like to sit down to something and then we're done. We don't know what happened to it because we weren't aware during the whole time we were eating. I try to do that every morning at breakfast, and sometimes I just don't remember eating. Other times I can stay present for the whole time. But during that time that you're present, we could say you're fully alive, fully alive to what's going on in your life, and it brings a great peacefulness. In Plum Village, which is Thich Nhat Hanh's retreat center in France, they ring a bell every hour, all day long, all over the whole campus. And when the bell rings, everyone lets go of what they're doing and gets present with their body, their environment. They get present for a minute, and then they go on. Pema Chodron, who's the abbess of Gumpo Abbey in Nova Scotia, recommends that we pause during the day, at least 3 or 4 times during our day, have a pause where we just stop and we breathe deeply 3 times. And what she says, I love, she says, we wake up to the magic and sacredness of the world around us. And another thing that Buddhists do to become more happy is they work to tame what's called afflictive emotions, which are things that make us unhappy, like impatience, anger, fear. We have emotions that make us unhappy. And believe it or not, we can tame these emotions. Buddhists don't say, you never recommend suppressing it. Instead, you go into it, you feel it. Where is it coming from? What is causing this feeling? How does it feel in my body? Until over time, you make peace with the emotion. Alternatively, another way to overcome afflictive emotions is to develop positive ones. These are called paramitas or parami in Buddhism, which means perfections. There really means positive emotions or character traits like generosity, virtue, renunciation of wanting everything, honesty, goodwill, determination, compassion. Yes, just yesterday I was listening to somebody who listed them as generosity, ethical conduct, patience, persistence, concentration, and wisdom. In The Art of Happiness, which was written many, many years ago by the Dalai Lama, he suggests that we replace the motivation for everything we do with generosity and love. And if we do that, we'll be happy. And you can see how the paramitas and other positive emotions will help us to overcome negative ones. For instance, fear can be addressed by renunciation and realizing we can't always have our own way. Anger can be overcome by gratitude. Impatience can be overcome with acceptance and loving kindness. But these things all require work. It's a very slow path, requires a lot of meditation on these things over many years. And it involves working on ourselves. So the path to happiness, recommended by Buddhists, is giving up our cravings and attachments, taming our afflictive emotions, calming our mind through meditation and mindfulness, developing our best selves, our generosity and our compassion, avoiding distractions and negative influences, and taking pleasure in others' successes. This is a kind of genuine internal peacefulness that is the Buddhist concept of happiness. Pema Chodron, in a workshop I was recently listening to called True Happiness, says that what we need to do is get in touch with our, quote, innate goodness. She says a lot of people have trouble realizing that they are innately good, but when they do, they're going to be happier. We accept ourselves and our faults. Then we can accept others. We can become less reactive to outside influences, less blaming of external factors. Then we decenter our little ego, me, and begin to think of others, become generous, and feel part of something bigger, like the little boy in the story. Through meditation, mindfulness, taming emotions, accepting impermanence, and reducing craving and attachment, we can feel connected to all that is. We realize that we are not a separate self. We no longer need to drown ourselves in negative distractions. We can have genuine happiness, an internal core of integrity, connection, compassion, one that is generous and connected to the earth. Watching birds sing and feeling at peace. The Buddha's message is that this type of genuine happiness is available to everybody. This is the motivation for those of us who pursue the Buddhist path. May all beings benefit from our time together today. And now let's sing When Our Heart is in a Holy Place.
When our heart is in a holy place, when our heart is in a holy place, we are blessed with love and amazing grace. When our heart is in a holy place, and we trust the wisdom in each of us, every color, every creed and kind, and we see our faces in each other's eyes. Then our heart is in a holy place. When our heart is in a holy place, when our heart is in a holy place, we are blessed with love and amazing grace. When our heart is in a holy place, and we tell the story from deep inside, and we listen with a loving mind, and we hear our voices in each other's words. Then our heart is in a holy place. When our heart is in a holy place, when our heart is in a holy place, we are blessed with love and amazing grace. When our heart is in a holy place, and we share the silence of sacred space, and the God of our heart stirs within, and we feel the power in each other's faith. Then our heart is in a holy place. When our heart is in a holy place, when our heart is in a holy place, we are blessed with love and amazing grace. And our heart is in a holy place, and our heart is in a holy place.
The closing words today are going to be read by Christine Bates. They're by Sensei Alex Kikuo. And I think Christine does not have her picture, but she will read the words aloud.
I respond to my endless hunger for more by taking refuge in the daily activities of life. I strive to live in this present moment, only concerning myself with the problems I find therein. And on the frequent occasions when the undying thirst inside me can't be quenched by mundane life, I light the candles on my altar and I sit in meditation. As I watch the candlelight dance on my altar, my focus shifts inward to the shining light that we all possess. I remember that I'm enough and I don't feel hunger anymore.
Let's extinguish our chalice along with our children and youth on the video. Let's see, where's mine? Now we can say the words together. We extinguish this chalice, but not the light of truth, the warmth of community, or the fire of commitment. These we carry in our hearts until we are together again. Catherine will lead us in singing our benediction. Words are on the screen.
From you I receive, to you I give, together we share, and from this we live. From you I receive, to you I give, together we share, and from this we live.
I want to thank everyone who participated in our service this morning. Catherine Kasner was our technical host on Zoom, along with our usher, Don Critchell. Thank you, Judy and the Buddha Cats. Thank you, Catherine and Ella. You all are invited to stay, and you'll automatically be assigned to a breakout room. Visitors are welcome to stay and meet congregation members. There's no children's chapel today. Be patient. It'll take a few minutes before you're assigned. Have a good day.